So it is, for some reason, wedding season during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have been to a few weddings, was very uncomfortable, even fainted at one, which we will touch upon later on here in the third episode of the Peach and Steve show, which is becoming America's most popular show. Peach, I know we have a lot of wedding topics to
Oh
cover, but
yeah.
right away, I want to ask, can you please enlighten our listeners about a hot dog themed wedding you attended?
Oh yeah. So I went to this hot dog themed wedding. It was like a year ago, and the couple had applied for this contest for BuzzFeed to see like if they would get this sponsored wedding. Except the only thing is that it was completely hot dog themed. So BuzzFeed partnered with Oscar Mayer Wiener. They won, and they had a hot dog themed wedding.
Are they hot dog fans, or were they just like, hey, it's free, we're going to have a hot dog wedding?
I'm sure that they were like, "Hey, it's free," but I mean, everyone loves a corn dog, so
This is
I'm
true.
sure processed meat has a new special place in their heart if it didn't before.
My God. I imagine that like the bridesmaids should be in red dresses, the groomsmen should be in yellow suits.
Right, like just all out. Everyone's in tan.
Ooh, I like that with a red shirt, yellow
Mm-hmm.
tie.
Yeah.
That'd be I like that concept. I feel like that concept is awesome if both people are truly down for it. Because if only one side's down, then you look at
Yeah.
your wedding pictures, you're like, we had a hot dog wedding.
Yep. I mean, I guess the free part is pretty spectacular. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're down for we ate hot dogs like all night.
My
So,
God. Imagine having like
yeah.
10 hot dogs and then your new spouse is like, let's get to the hotel room.
And the Oscar Mayer wiener truck took them away.
Oh my God.
It was it was so extra.
That's the true romance that's being missed right now during
Mm-hmm.
all the weddings being canceled. I know I was at one in May, which wasn't really a wedding. Well, it was a wedding, but it was like 10 of us in kind of what I called a superhero ceremony where it was secret. I
Oh,
was also
cool.
the photographer, and then I was at a I was at a full blown wedding a month ago, and my parents were there, and a lot of people were wearing masks, but and I'm not the mask police at all. I'm not, I think you should wear one, but I'm not gonna go up to every like an 80-year-old woman and be like, you are a disgrace. But
Well, yeah, you shouldn't go up to an 80-year-old woman because
true
you
in the
can
first
get her
place.
sick.
But
Yeah.
no one was really wearing them, and people are like, "Come dance." And for several reasons, I was like, I'm gonna hang back. There's a lot of people here,
Yeah, 6 feet. Best
but
excuse to not interact.
exactly. And you haven't been the one this year, right? So you've been missing out.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to one like a week ago, but my plus one and I had broken up, so missed that one. But that was my other weddings had gotten canceled. So yeah.
You got to be
Which
careful
I
when.
feel like sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like that's the way to do it is to just push it back next year. But I guess like true love can't wait, but like also like if it's real love, like can't it wait? So you can have like all the
Exactly.
people you want. I mean, if you're going to be together for the rest of your life, why not just push it back? I don't know. Have
Yeah,
the
it's
wedding you
like
want.
they're like, well, we have to get married now. It's like, well, people could die at your wedding, and they're like, doesn't matter. Don't
Don't
care.
care. It's about us. But I guess it also could be a good excuse to have a small wedding and not have, not spend as much. But I don't
Not
know.
have
It sounds
20 cousins there.
stressful. Man, yeah, it sounds stressful. Weddings
Yeah.
in general.
I feel
It's a lot.
jaded where I go, yeah, what's the rush? But some people, like you said, they're
Yeah.
like, well, we met in, freshman Catholic class or something, and they're like, we have to get together now. It's like
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, there are some people who can't like live together or, do the thing until they're married.
I was
So
thinking that they're like, I want to have sex so bad that
yeah.
I
That
will
I
get married now.
I will risk everyone's life just to get laid. Yeah,
I understand that, but it's
I
different
get
when your
that.
grandparents are involved. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Hmm.
I was actually at a full Catholic mass wedding. Um,
Oh my God.
it was the mass was like over an hour. I
Way
nearly
too long.
Yeah, there was communion. There was a lot of kneeling, a
No.
lot of singing by the weird priest. I did not enjoy him, but I'm just gonna get right into it because I fainted at the wedding I was at
Oh my God.
on the altar
That's so
as
bad.
soon as the vows were finished. So it's like, I now pronounce you
That's
man and wife,
good.
and I died. But there was a lot of build up to it, and
Hmm.
I've learned that when embarrassing things happen, the best thing to do is just take it in stride,
Hmm.
and not be embarrassed. But at the same time, when your heart's beating out of your chest, you're like, well, I'm dying. There's no need to be
Yep.
embarrassed. So
That's it.
it was terrible. So
Yeah.
basically, I've been teasing this, and I texted a few people and it happened, and they were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I think so. I think I'll be good." But I was at my friend Matt's wedding. I was in the wedding, and I'd say since I've been a single guy since May, I've been living the well, I was doing this not anymore. The coffee all day and then immediately switch to alcohol. And
Hmm.
just in that cycle, which a lot of people are doing because of quarantine,
And no
and
water in between.
no
No
water.
snacks, nothing.
No.
Got it. Cool.
So that was like 4 months of that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this probably isn't a healthy lifestyle, but whatever. I'm young. My body will just
YOLO.
recover pretty
Yeah.
much. And the night before, I had some White Claws. I wake up, don't feel great, but I don't feel horrible. Like, I'm not like throwing up. I
Hmm.
would never do that because his parents would beat me.
Right. It's like
So,
if you're gonna make a scene, at least faint. Don't like have any liquids come out of you.
yeah.
Right.
See, I think fainting, it's like, okay, your body failed, but if you throw up,
Oh,
that's bad. That's inappropriate.
yeah.
So I rationalized what happened.
Well, yeah, there's no cleanup. It's not like a big mess. It's like you fainted, which is honestly probably because the attention was on them too long and the harsh light. You were just, your body was like, no, done.
Well, here's the
And
issue
was
for
it
the day.
carpeted?
Oh, it was carpeted, but I'll get to. I didn't fall, thanks to my guardian angel. But so my mom is like, I make jokes. I'm like, I'm gonna do this at the wedding. My mom's like, you can't make this about you. And I was like, well, how in the world would I make this about me? So we're there during the day. I'm dying hungry, and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
drinking coffee in a tight suit, which I never wear,
Oh,
and it's like pretty warm. I'm like, oh, I
mm-hmm.
drink coffee, whatever, blah blah blah. And my mom brings me a McChicken because I asked her to because she was at the
Oh,
wedding.
that's nice of her.
So basically, everything's fine. But then we kind of get to the steps waiting to go in the church because we had to walk in.
Yeah.
This was the first wedding I was in, by the way, and I made quite the impression.
And you were
So
right behind him too. Or
luckily, I was at the end of the line.
oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So I was not if because I don't think I ruined their wedding video. If there's a good editor on that. So basically, we're outside waiting to go in, and I tell his dad, who I've known for years, I was like, I'm gonna pass
Yeah.
out, and he was like, ha. And I was like, no, I just know it. Like, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah.
And he was like, when I was an altar boy, I remember people would pass out when I was a kid. And I was like, yeah, because all the kneeling and standing in church, some people, me apparently, your body just you stand up and you're like, when you
Nope.
stand up really fast and you get dizzy.
Yeah, iron
Yeah,
deficiency.
the extreme of that is just fainting. Your body's like, nope,
Yeah,
we're going down.
can't have it.
So we get up there. I'm sitting in the pew and it's hot.
Mhm.
It's so hot in the church.
Oh my God.
And we're kneeling, we're standing. The
Mhm.
church is the priest is breaking the bread. So then he goes, everyone come on stage. And I'd say I'm up there for like 30 seconds. And anyone who's done
Wow.
like theater or band or any show or
Mhm.
anything knows that those stage lights are like
Oh, they're the
burning bright.
worst. Mhm. Not ideal lighting for a wedding either.
Yeah. And it's in a Catholic church in the middle of a farm town.
Oh
So
my God.
I'm on stage and I've fainted a lot in my life, so I know when it's happening, but usually you can just
Mhm.
take a knee or sit down and it goes away. This
Okay.
was the one scenario where I could not knee or like, imagine if I just started kneeling during their vows. It'd be
I
like,
feel like you could have like pretended to cry, but even then you wouldn't kneel. So no, no, yeah,
well,
you had to just tumble down.
the funny thing about me, I could have pretended to cry is, so I whisper to my friend Andrew, my closest friend, I go, he's right in front of me, thank God. And I whisper, I'm like, I'm gonna pass out. And he gives kind of like a like thinks I'm making a joke
Right.
during the vows. I was like, no, I'm legit. And I'm saying this as quiet as possible. I'm like, I'm legit gonna faint. So he just goes, grab my arm. Because, I call it a wartime composure, where it's something bad's happened.
Mhm.
It goes, just, we'll deal with it. So
Yeah.
I'm listening to the vows. I'm like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And it's something creepy like, the priest is like, do you promise to serve your husband? And she's like,
Oh God.
I will. And I'm like, yeah, come on.
No.
So I'm up there
Mhm.
and I'm holding Andrew's arm. So people in the crowd thought I was so emotional about the vows that I had to hold on to him to avoid crying.
Oh my
And
God.
I knew, I was like, okay. And the bridesmaids are just staring daggers at me. They're like,
Yeah, they're like, they know. They're like, what is he about to pull?
No, they were just mad at me for, like, I don't know, not
Existing?
standing.
Oh
Yeah, that's how it felt. They were not nice to me once I died. So I'm standing there and my vision starts to go, because it kind of
No.
like comes to a tunnel and
Okay,
then
I've
just
never
goes out.
fainted.
So basically, what it starts, you feel like sweaty, and then there's like,
Mhm.
it's like when you have the flu and like a chill just goes through your whole body.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Ooh.
uh-oh, it's happening. So I'm soaked in sweat at this point. My vision's starting to come into a single point,
Yeah.
and
Oh
I'm like,
man.
and I'm squeezing Andrew's arm like as hard as possible. And
Mhm.
then the next thing I know, I'm being sat down in a chair. So what I was told what happened is that the last vow was said, and then my knees, I just like wobbled, and my friend's
Mhm.
holding me up, my all my dead body weight with one arm. So I'm like leaning on him. I
Mhm.
bent my glasses, my hair was all messed up. And then I wake up to my friend's dad sitting me down in the groom's chair on stage. So I was like, immediately, my first thought was, oh my God, Sarah's gonna kill me. Sarah's the bride.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
And she's the nicest lady. She's the nicest girl ever. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is her wedding. And I fainted. My mom told me not to make this about me.
And here you are.
And the priest was like, oh, look at this guy. Was like making jokes about it when I was dying. So I'm waking up in the groom's chair, and like I said, I was worried Sarah was gonna kill me, the wife. But they had no idea it happened. They were like
Wow.
so engulfed in their love that
That's amazing.
me dying I was like the eighth guy in line, just like dead. And they're like, and the best man was like, yeah, I don't even know what happened. I just saw my dad run up on stage. And the funny thing about the dad was he was sobbing. So then
No.
he's like, my friend looks at him and goes, can you help me with this? Like, he's dead on my shoulder. So the dad runs up. So I stopped the dad from crying.
Was
Um,
he crying because you fainted or crying because of the vows?
Crying because of the vows.
Wow, I like can't see my parents getting emotional over my public display of love for someone. I would
I
just
know.
be uncomfortable and embarrassed. But love that for them. That's a nice relationship.
Yeah.
I'm
Where
sure, I guess. I
you,
have no idea.
no, it's good. They're a Bowling
It's
Green
good.
Falcon
I
Flame
love
couple.
that. I love that. That's nice.
So later on at the ceremony, the dad was crying during the first dance. So I went up to him and I said, you need me to take a fall again? And he gave me a hug. But it was, the rest of the story's not fun. It was me at the reception, like having the hot flashes. Um,
Oh no, so you were like sick the entire night.
oh yeah, I like, you get this, like, I think the adrenaline in your body like brings you back to life, and then after you're coming down from that with like I had like a piercing migraine. They're like,
Oh,
and oh,
geez.
I know what you know. So before we even get to the reception, I had to go on a party
Mm-hmm.
bus where they closed all the windows,
Oh
and it was going like
God.
5 miles
Yeah.
an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey Steve, you good? I was like, yeah, I think so. They're like, all right, you want a drink? And I was like, no.
Oh. I mean, maybe. Yeah. No.
So the rundown is basically everything's fine. I'm on stage. It's happening. I get the tunnel vision. I wake up and this lady in the church, like the organ player, got me a Dixie cup of water and was like, "Oh, honey, I hope this is okay." And I'm like,
Aw.
this is a nice little cup."
That's
And it's
nice.
but I also got on stage for the final vow, which is at the end where they send them off, and I did not faint.
Huh. That's
But
very nice.
the secret is I felt like I was going to, and I just didn't tell anyone.
Just like it's fine. We're just gonna move past this.
Yeah, but since then I have cut down my caffeine a ton.
Oh wow, good for you. No fainting since?
No fainting since. I do have what I call the yips, though. It's a baseball term. I don't think I could be in a wedding ever again. I will faint.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good excuse, once you have that,
Be like, hey, I
for
can't spend
sure.
$1,000 because I'll faint. The only positive from the experience was, you know,
Hmm.
at weddings when they have like the intro for the groom's party and the
Yeah.
bridesmaids, I came out in a wheelchair for mine, and then I was helped out of the wheelchair.
Oh my God.
So everyone else was chugging a beer, and
Yeah. And
I
you were
came out like being helped up and
strong.
shaken.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
my parents were there. My mom was like, "That was really funny." I was like, "Yes." But the
So
whole
the attention's on me.
yeah, I put it back on me. I was like, "No, no, 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 no. That wasn't the
Oops.
point." Yeah.
Hmm.
Oops, I'm single, ladies. And I was like,
Oops.
one of the groomsmen. I was like, "You think this is gonna hurt my chance of getting with a bridesmaid?" It's like, "Yeah, I think so."
You're clearly thirsty, but yeah.
It totally killed the chance. But
Hmm.
that was my shameful moment of the year. And I know your weird wedding experience is, I'd say, emotionally cringeworthy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't faint, but my cousin did ask me on a date,
Nice. Which will
which was
happen.
fun. It'll happen, when you're in high school, but basically what happened is I was at a wedding, and it's of course like my dad's side of the family. So, it's a really big family, and like they live all over the place. We all get together. There's like a million kids, whatever. And I'm meeting a lot of new cousins for the first time. At one, happens at weddings. And we're all having a great time, and we all exchange numbers so we can hang out when we're all together again. And my one cousin, he is texting me like a lot after the wedding. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to have like a fun, like, cousin friendship, because I'm really close to my other cousin. So I was like, great, just, add him to the crew. And then he asked me on a date, like over text. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, bro.
Did he know? Were you introduced as cousins?
I knew we were cousins off the bat. Like,
Yeah, it was a
I thought
family wedding.
it was a family wedding where I thought it was, yeah. I mean, we don't look like twins, but I mean, everyone else knew that we were cousins, I guess, except this one. And I was like, hey, like, we're cousins. And he was like, what? And I was like, what? Um, we weren't like first cousins, but it's like,
Still
it
related.
doesn't matter what number cousin you are. If you're cousins, it's a no. And he was very confused. Wasn't embarrassed though. It was just
He
like, all
wasn't
right.
embarrassed.
No, he wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. It was just like, oh shit, well. It's like,
He
y'all.
probably was like, "Well, we're not first cousins."
Yeah, right. It's like, well, I mean, are we actually? Um, and I mean, I guess I don't really look like that side of my family, so I can see how it could, me defending the incest, how it could have happened. But
Yeah, you're on his
yeah.
side.
I know I'm trying not to make it like super weird, but it was pretty weird. Um, but I don't think I really only saw him like maybe a handful of times after that.
Oh my God. You saw him again? Did he ask you out
Yeah, I
again?
mean, we're family.
True.
No, thank God. The cousins thing really. I'm sure I said something too. It's like so good to see family again at our next like funeral. And I'm like,
He probably
cousinly
was like,
hug.
I just like the concept of him going home and being like, I'm at this wedding. I'm going to ask this girl out. I got her number. And it's his cousin the whole time. And his friends are like,
Like
so what did
telling
that
him,
girl say? He was
yeah.
probably like, nah, she wasn't free.
Yeah, no, she's unfortunately lives in another city,
And
moved
cousins.
to a different country, and
That's
cousins.
that's so weird. That's
Yeah.
like that shows how like I brought up earlier how like just some people go to weddings so thirsty they're just blinded. They're
Yeah.
like, this is a family wedding. It's like, oh, there's got to be some single girls here.
Yeah. Let me go for the one that
Now I imagine
related to.
your sister, a friend of the show, um, probably had a field day with this information.
Yeah. Oh my God. We have to bring her on the show. She's so funny. But yeah, it was pretty concerning.
Or was like
But
mad
yeah,
that
she
she
loved
didn't get
it.
asked out by a cousin.
No, I think she was incredibly thankful that she didn't have to be the one to deliver that news. Even though I wish she delivered the news for me, because I feel like that would have been more fitting. She would have had a fun telling someone that we're related, but not if it was her in my situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
It's
because
like
she's
less
also his
uncomfortable.
cousin. So
Yeah, she's his cousin too. So she could have just been like, yo, she's the best person to put someone in their place. So wish, wish she
man.
could have done it for me.
I'm trying to think the wedding me and you were both at. There was nothing like well, I guess there's always weird stuff that happens at a wedding, but there was nothing like insane. I mean, I had to deal with a lot of nonsense because of my counterpart, but like I don't know.
Yeah. That was, oh, that wedding. That wedding was fun because I had Lyme disease, but I didn't know. And
Oh
I was
jeez.
showing a lot of symptoms at the wedding. And our friends were like, why are you so tired and acting this way? And I was like, I don't know. But I was like, couldn't stay up and like party because I was so tired. And it was the Lyme disease.
That's
Ended up finding
insane. Like,
out.
oh, sorry, I was
Yeah.
tired at your wedding. I have Lyme disease.
Yeah, my bad. Didn't know. I was just my blood was infected. But yeah, that was a fun wedding though. I really liked what I wore. And it was a beautiful wedding. Love them.
It was a New York City couple wedding in Ohio, just like it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's the way. I like that though. That was such a fun wedding. Yeah, I don't know. I think I have one post-COVID wedding that I hope I'm still invited to.
Nice.
Because I feel like if you're redoing the wedding, like the guest list is gonna get cut. So we'll
Oh yeah.
see.
I like grew up. I'm like, man, it'd be fun to be in these weddings with my friends. And then I fainted at the first one. I was like, nah, these suck. I hate this.
That was your first one that you were bridesmaid in,
A
or
groomsman?
a groom's.
Yeah, I can't wait to be a bridesmaid. Maybe in a wedding of you or your sister, I could be on the
Oh my
girls'
God, I
side.
would love that. I feel like that would make sense. I
Every
mean,
wedding should have a male bridesmaid to kind of keep the group together, um,
yeah,
and
and that would be
plan the
perfect for
bachelorette
you.
party.
Yeah, perfect. All right, you're hired.
Nice.
Yeah, you and Michelle are gonna be my only bridesmaids,
That'd be
actually.
so funny. Be like, why is there a guy and just one girl up there?
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Settled.
So we here at the famous Peach and Steve show have, I'd say, amassed a solid listener base so far. Our first YouTube episode's over 100 views, which is pretty good.
Woo! I
Um,
think so.
I've
Pretty
posted some
exciting.
videos in the past that get like no views, and I look like I'm some serial killer or something. But
Yeah.
one thing we did was went to Instagram, and you posed the question
Oh yeah.
to your followers of, what should we talk about on here, because we want to have fun topics that people are interested in. And did you get any, I mean, good topics? I know my sister sent one, but That
Oh
doesn't
yeah, your
count.
sister sent some good ones. I got sex and vampires.
That's it. That's all it
So
says. Just
yeah.
sex.
Well, there's two separate ones, sex, and then another one's vampires. So I'm thinking we get creative, we combine the two, and that's a
Sexy
perfect show.
vampires.
Sex and vampires.
Like how vampires have sex. People are so weird. Like I don't ever understand on Instagram where like your name and pictures attached, and if it's like a stranger, like they're like, oh, talk about you having sex. Like, oh, thank you for the input. I know exactly who you are, and I can block you now.
My favorite is that people will, and this is one of the responses, is what's your real name? And people will ask me what my real name is constantly, like beg me, like DMs, like please, I need to know. And I'm like, it's in my bio. Like it's there.
I
It's
know.
right under peach mango juice. It says Renee Monaco. And people are like, please, I need to know. I'm like, what?
They're like need it for their shrine.
Yeah. I'm like, bro.
That's so creepy.
So yeah, it's Renee Monaco.
Yeah, it's not like a hidden secret,
No.
but it's. I mean, my name isn't really Steve either, so
No.
it's pretty secret. But
Please tell me.
I think definitely. Well, I mean, we're probably not going to take uh the vampire one just because our lack of research, but we could take some
Mhm.
topics off there. It is
Speak for
approaching holiday
yourself.
time. Yeah, we'll just have an episode called
Yes.
called sex, and I'll see how many girls I can get to block me on social media. Because
Yeah,
apparently
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
someone we talked about on an episode who I didn't name blocked
Yeah.
me.
I mean, I could see that happening.
Price of fame. You know, I
Price
didn't.
of fame.
It's not like I said
It's nice she
anything that
listened.
bad. I know. Maybe she's listening to
She's
this
still
episode.
interested. Well, she was maybe.
No, that was
No.
a story that it's funny. So when I posted the Instagram, like ask me anything like a famous person would do.
Hmm.
One of our loyal listeners who always comments and likes stuff I put up, who's a very nice girl from my high school named Gabby, asked a question.
Oh,
But I remember
Gabby. Okay.
um, she commented on the YouTube video and was like, "I cringed for you," and I was like, "Well, it gets worse. I'm blocked." So maybe sex is
Yeah.
not a good topic. If we'd have to be like, yeah, I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't have any stories.
I mean, I have nothing on that
30
topic.
second episode, intro and out.
Yup. All right. Just 5 seconds of silence, and that's it for today's show.
But I got a question uh, from a fellow New York City resident that said, "Do you or Peach have any bad roommate stories?" And I'm like, yeah, and he was one of my roommates in the past. So I was like, yeah, you, but I was just
Mm,
joking. But like, you don't want to be like, yeah, I had this roommate, and like the person like knows you're talking about him. But you've had crazy
yeah.
roommates. I lived with you and your
I've had a
sister and
crazy
other girls,
roommate.
but that wasn't bad roommate. That was like fun in college. But like bad roommate
Yeah,
is
it was
like
fun,
true mental torture.
which I've had.
Yeah.
I had serious mental
And
torture.
I met the roommate, and I said you shouldn't talk about people, but I'm doing it anyway. So, like, I come to New York with my friend who asked me the question, and me and
Oh
your
yeah.
roommate went on a 15-mile walk around the whole island of Manhattan, and I was like, that was so
Hmm.
fun. And you're like, oh, she's a little different. And then she was just like spazzing out. And I'm not trying to like make fun of people with stuff going on, but it was like this is not a healthy roommate environment.
It was not a healthy environment.
That's my PC answer. Is
It was not. Wishing her the best.
yeah, it's like T and T and P thoughts and prayers out to her. Hope.
Yeah, peace, love, and funk.
But I as soon as I saw that question, I'm like, well, I know she has that, but you're not gonna have like an hour episode be like, here's all the reasons I hate my ex roommate. Like,
Right.
it's
I
not good.
mean, yeah, it's not right.
But I mean, I've never really had.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did live with a person I was dating for a year, and that wasn't really fun per se. But I don't call
Yeah, I've
that.
never.
That's not roommate though.
That's not roommates. I don't know. I have no experience on that. I've never lived with a boyfriend. But
I'm not gonna do it ever again. Until I'm
really,
getting I'm gonna be engaged like a good little Christian boy, and then
But don't you think like that's the whole point is to live, well, what they say is to live with the person before you get engaged. So if you do break up after a year of living together and it's not working out, then you're not like breaking up an engagement.
Well, I used to be all about that. That was my rationale for moving in.
Yeah.
And then once it goes bad, you're like, heck with that. I want I want some quiet time. But no, I agree with that. I'm fake. I'll probably do it again and like within the next year or something crazy.
Oh, within the next year. Moving
Yeah,
on.
I'm on Hinge, so
Oh my God, I downloaded Hinge. I had a
nice.
very weak moment and I did it and I hate it and I already deleted it.
See,
It was a 24-hour thing and I said no.
well, I feel like Hinge in New York
Nope.
is like insane. Around me, there's
I
not too many
mean,
people. But
couldn't handle it.
I'm
Got
glad you
very
called it a weak
overwhelmed.
moment because I'm like, oh, I'm on Hinge.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I didn't want, my whole plan was like, I was like, I don't want to go on Hinge, whatever. But my friend has been dating this guy for like a long time and they met on Hinge and she was like, Renee, you got to get on Hinge. And I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. And then I downloaded it and I was just like, this is so overwhelming. Someone
Yeah.
already asked for, someone sent me a message being like, I like your paintings, but I want one that's bigger and I want it cheaper. And I was like, all right, I'm done.
You're like, okay.
This is not
And
fun.
people are maniacs. Me on Hinge, I'm like, the craziest thing I'll be like, can I have your number so we could text instead of Hinge? And the girls are like, because I'm like, I can't ask directly because I'm like 14 years old. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, wow. So
Wow.
I got one
Yeah,
girl's
that's always
number and
fun.
then she just didn't, she was like, she said, let's hang out. Here's my number. And then just like didn't text me. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird.
Did you gave her your number
No, she
or
said
you?
like we should hang out. You should show me
Okay.
places because I'm new in town. Here's my number, and then we texted. And then I didn't say anything crazy. Like I know I sound like a crazy person. Like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
say anything
I
crazy.
swear, I just asked to like see her basement.
I sent a
Mm-hmm.
picture of my toilet, but
And that was it.
no, it's Hinge is fine. I mean, I'm trying to hang out with someone from it now, which
Nice.
I think if I just asked, the answer would be yes. But I'm like, so are you available this month?
Anytime in the next year, do you have a spare second for me?
That's pretty much how I go about it. They're like, and they say yeah, and I go, oh, cool. I never go any farther.
Yeah, that's it. And then you're like, nice, that's good. And then no plans. Not like a. Are you? Did you carve pumpkins with anyone yet?
I did. It's funny you say that because someone who I'm carving pumpkins with on Halloween listened to the last episode and said, "You do this with everyone?" And
No.
I said annually, not all the time.
So you
But
listen to the
I was
podcast.
like, "Thanks for listening." Now she's a nice loyal listener too. But so I did my initial carving with my roommate, and uh his family, but I'm gonna do another one on Halloween night because there's gonna be a blue moon. So it's gonna be very
Really?
there's gonna be a lot of people doing some weird stuff because it's a blue moon on Halloween. So
Damn.
another full moon, get the weird people. I don't know what they do, but yeah, I'm gonna do it on
Wow.
Halloween. Did you get a chance to carve with anyone? Or is that not a city thing?
No, no one asked me to carve a pumpkin. But we'll see how the weekend goes. I
You
don't
got a
know.
few days.
I got a few days.
But kind of wrapping up, there was another question which I mentioned. Loyal listener Gabby, who I'll say friend of the show. I need to make stickers, and I could send
You
them out to like
do
three
loyal
people.
listener stickers. Yeah.
He said, "This is." As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'm going to sound really pretentious reading this. But she said, "What inspired you to write your novel?" And I was like, "Oh, well,
Ooh,
for
perfect.
the next 2 hours, I'll tell you." No, but the simple answer to that, which I think kind of sheds light on. Oh, there's a dog barking in my house. They're always barking, but it's fine. So it kind of sheds light on like doing stuff like this. People are like, "Oh, did you go to a cabin and do this?" I'm like, "No, it was for an honors project at BG. Then I let it sit for like 4 years, and then I
Mhm.
was like, I should finish this." So the
Yeah.
inspiration was I always wanted to be like write one, but I was super
Mhm.
lazy and I was just carried about like drinking and finding girls to carve pumpkins with in college. And then I guess it was kind of like a discipline project just to like get it done.
Yeah.
And then she also added, "Is there one takeaway you hope everyone who reads it walks away with?" I'd say my takeaway is that you can also write something like that if you desire.
That's awesome. I love those answers.
Because I think people get bogged down. They're like, I can never write that many words. It's like, wait, it takes a
Yeah,
long time.
it's overwhelming.
Or if you want to do like something like this, like the first episode's not going to be, I mean, ours was great, but not every first episode is going to be great. You should just do it, especially during like
Yeah.
stuff's probably going to be shut down relatively for the next like 6 months. So it's like you just go and do it. If you want to write a book and no one reads it, that's fine.
Yeah. So many people, someone was just like, why are you doing so much like stuff? And I was like, because otherwise I'm just going to lay in bed for the next year. And I already did that last year. So
Yeah, it's like I'm
like, what else
depressed.
am I
Leave me
supposed to
alone. I'm staying
do?
busy.
Yeah. I'm sad either way. So let me at least be productive.
But speaking of the stuff you're doing, do you want to pitch how people can buy
Oh,
your stuff? Because your Instagram
yeah.
account we're approaching 10K, so it's gonna
We're
be
getting there. We are
pretty
getting
wild.
there. We're so close. And I just want that swipe up. I
I
just want
know.
that swipe up. But basically, I finally got approved for Instagram shopping, which is awesome because now you can see the price of my paintings instead of that, it just cancels out that DM lingo of how much is it and that awkward thing of nah. So now you can see it and you can shop my Instagram and it looks very professional and I really like it. So check it out.
No, that is nice because isn't that where you can just kind of like tap the white circles on the post?
Yeah, you can tap it and you can see how much it is and then it's the link to buy it. So shop my Instagram if you want some cool new paintings for your place. Or it's also a great gift.
True, it is approaching Christmas time. Yeah, don't buy like
Oh yeah.
a dumb picture of a giraffe from Target. Like, get real art if you're gonna hang it in your
Right.
room.
Mm-hmm.
That's my pitch. That's how I would sell your
That's a
paintings.
great pitch. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't be an idiot and overspend at Target. Get these,
Yeah.
and they look cool. So,
Thank
and even if
you.
you're not in New York, people can buy them, right? And you'll ship it right to them.
Oh yeah, I'll ship it. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go do it. My only pitch really is subscribe to our YouTube channel because that helps us out.
Subscribe.
We have a lot of good viewing, consistent viewing, which is kind of cool to see.
It is very cool to see.
Uh, as I mentioned before, I have a book called Above and Below on Amazon, which I'm going to make a paperback soon and just give it to people. Be like, please take this.
Please read. Do
Pretty much.
it.
I'm going to come to New York and be one of those people in Times Square shoving my book into people's chests and then being like,
Oh,
$10.
you should. You should. There's so many of those people, and I see so many people buying them. So give it a
It's a
shot.
great idea. But yeah, we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, if you're an Android user, and we're on Apple Podcasts. But when I Googled it,
Ooh.
it like didn't show up. But I just got a Hinge like anyway. But
Wow.
uh, wow, exciting! I'll have to check that. But yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts, which is probably the easiest way to use it if you have an
Mm-hmm.
iPhone.
Yeah.
But also YouTube, watching on YouTube. Maybe you could just watch in the background at work with it on mute. That'd be fun. But I think this was a good episode. We powered through. We had some Zoom related technical difficulties, but
But we did it.
it sounds
We
good.
did
I'd
it.
say our best, most fun episode yet. And
Hell yeah.
find Peach at Peach Mango Juice on Instagram, and I'm at Kibitza Rights, which no one's gonna follow me anyway, but I have to say it. And I'll try to put those, in the YouTube description and everything. But
Yeah.
do you have any final thoughts about how maybe people can avoid dating their cousins? Was there a specific strategy
You
you
know,
used?
it's really hard to avoid dating your cousin, but I do suggest it. I think you should try to avoid it at all costs. And just always like ask, you know, who do you know here is always a good starter. And
Especially
be
at a
like,
small family wedding.
yeah, you're like, I know the bride because she is my cousin. Wow, me too. Wait, does that mean we're related? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Probably.
We'll leave on that note. That's how you avoid dating your cousins. If someone's too similar to you, they're probably related. So,
Yeah, better write a
for
book about it.
Jesus. So for Peach, I'm Steve. This is our third episode. Subscribe to us, leave reviews, all that, and we will
Ooh,
see you in a
yeah.
few weeks around close to Thanksgiving time. So that'll be exciting.
Stoked.
All right. We will see you everyone then.